what we've got here is the card holder from an A4 B6. This is the card holder. The faceplate's been taken off just so I don't damage it while I'm working on it, but the spring that's supposed to fit in here has broken. So the spring won't stay there, and this roller would normally fit in the back here, and as it pushes back into the holder, the spring uncoils, and then the tension is what pops it open when you release the latch. This is the latching mechanism that catches. So been unable to fix that spring and find a way to mount it into the slot where it should have been, because the tangs are broken off the end of the spring and the little tabs are broken off the slot as well. So what I've done is fashioned I've stretched a spring to provide some tension on the back. Problem with that is when it collapses, the spring can tend to bend. So I've drilled a new hole in the back here, put a screw and threaded it through there so that I can actually adjust the length to get it right. And then I've drilled a guide in the back of this, so when the card holder slides in, it will fit over that guide, and the spring will compress in between there, and that guide will keep it in line. The first couple times I tried it made a heck of a lot of noise, so the other thing I've done is taken a piece of straw, just a normal drinking straw, because the noise was caused by the spring as it compressed along the threads of the screw inside. So by putting the straw over it, it acts as a sleeve and keeps that from happening. So try this again. We'll get the straw back in there. It's a little awkward to get everything in and fit exactly over the screw, so I'm not going to try and fit the camera in there, but the straw is now down there over the screw. We'll put the spring down there over top of that. There we go. Okay, and then we'll fit this back in here for a test. This little stop has to squeeze its way through there to get into here. I'm not going to put the damper back in yet because I assume I'm going to have to take it apart again. Okay, so that's clicked through there, and then squeeze it closed and open. Okay, once the spring snapped into place, it seems to work fairly well. Doesn't pop it all the way open, so I think I'm going to stretch the spring a little bit more. Let's see how that works. We'll pull this back out. Stretch the spring a little bit more. Okay, we don't want to go too far. The longer it goes, the tougher it is to keep it from folding on itself sideways. Okay, get that in there. Try this again. Okay, there's a lot of tension there now. I don't think I want to do much more than that. Okay, it seems to work. It's not perfect, but being unable to fix that coil spring, or that strap spring, I think this is a good way to at least make the thing still functional, be able to use it. So we've got the straw in there for a sleeve. We'll get that back over there. It looks like the straw, the end of it might be a little damaged. We don't want the straw. We want the straw to stay over the screw. If the straw pulls up, we turn this over. If the straw pulls up into here and stays in here, it won't work as well. So we want it to stay near the screw at the bottom. If it keeps moving, I think I might put a little drop of glue in there to hold the straw down on that part. In fact, I think I may do that anyway. But let's just make sure it all goes together and it all works first. So the damper actually goes in through the bottom. There's an access hole here. So once it's put back together, we can put the damper in from there. So spring back in there. spring back on. Oh, this little piece of plastic. It's like a fiber optic thing. That's how the LED from the back shines the light out through the faceplate. Just reflects it through that piece of plastic. So we'll put that back in there. Okay. Latch that closed. Then we can flip it over and we put the damper in place. I don't think it matters which way it goes. It looks to be the same. Put that in there. And we snap that into place. You can see it coming through there. Okay, that's in place. Now when it opens, it'll be a lot smoother. It won't fly open. There we go. So you can see it's not quite open all the way, but I don't mind if I have to pull it that far open. It still springs open. Works better than it did with no spring at all. So I'm not unhappy with that. I could probably stretch the spring a little more, and as I said, I may put some glue on that straw to hold it in place. But I think for the most part, it's an improvement over the non-working thing. This screw's threaded so that I was able to get it just to the right length so that the thing would still close and latch. So I was going to try and fit a lock nut on there. I had a lock nut to fit here, but because of the LED assembly, the nut wouldn't fit that close. And trying to put it on from the inside, you can't get at it at all to hold the nut in place. Probably with a really deep socket that would fit over the length of that bolt might work, but it wasn't worth the effort. I think a little bit of dab of glue there will hold that in the right spot, and it should work. So that's that.